Okay, so in the first part of this lab, we're using our feet to push off of the wall. Katie's going to push off with very little force. Go. Whereas Avery's going to push off with quite a bit more force. She obviously went farther.
So we should have noticed when Katie pushed into the wall pushed her back with the same little amount of force. But when Avery pushed into the wall with a bigger force, the wall pushed her back with an even bigger force, causing her to move farther away from the wall. So again, the more force you put into the wall, the more force the wall gives back to you. So when you look at this next part, you need to be very careful to watch for very small changes. Look which way the people on the scooters move when they toss the weight and then when they catch the weight. It's going to be very small movements.
Okay, so we have a weighted ball we're going to toss between. We're going to see as Katie tosses it, what happens to her and how does Avery catch it. Okay, so Avery moves a little bit back. Ready? Toss it again. So she tries to go back a little bit. And she keeps going back as Avery catches it. Real big toss, really big. Woo. And she falls, but she goes backwards. The scooter goes forwards. So she tosses it forwards. Katie goes back as she gets it one more time.
Although these changes are really small, one of the things you should have noticed is that as Katie tossed the weight, her scooter went backwards a little bit. And then when Avery caught the weight, she went backwards a little bit. And then when Avery sent the weight back to Katie, she moved backwards a little bit. So when they released the weight, they move the opposite direction. It's very, very small. You even see one time when Avery tries to give it a big push that she actually falls off the scooter because the scooter goes backwards. So while she's pushing the weight forwards, her scooter goes backwards.
So we have each of our partners, they have theirs. We're going to push off of each other. Our goal is with the same amount of force. Which way do they go?
Oh, wait, I was alright.
Okay, we'll try it one more time. This time she's going to be ready. So they push off forwards and move backwards.
So when you saw Avery and Katie push off of each other, what you saw is that Katie pushed into Avery and that sent her backwards. Avery pushed into Katie and that sent her backwards. If I'd had two people, a really small, like my 2-year-old daughter, and then Avery pushing in wouldn't have gone very far, but when Callie pushed in, she would have been pushed really far, and that has to do with their mass. But you should have seen the amount they pushed in to their partner was the amount they were sent out backwards.